Hello, welcome back to Leicester City Down Under. It's been a while. I'm really sorry. I've just been enjoying the most of my holidays. It's been a couple of weeks, but I am back. I'm just going to bring in dear old Chris and Kate. How you guys going?
Hello.
Kate just farted before we started.
Sorry about that. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I've only just eaten
kidding.
lunch. It was a rush job.
Fibre. Plenty of fibre, Kate.
How are we doing?
I'm good. How are you, Chris?
Yeah, I'm excellent. What it's a new year. I'm about to be another year older, but Leicester are top of the league. What could be better?
Yes. Let's just stay down here. Let's not go back to the Premier League.
No,
I'm just kidding. Kings of the Farmers League. All right, guys. Just before we get into anything, I haven't really had a chance to talk to anyone about this yet, but what do you guys both think of this? Let me get his name right before I absolutely butcher it. This Italian fella. Okay. He is it Steffi? I don't want to even say it. Stefano Sensi. How do you guys feel about his injury record and potentially that midfield option for that right-hand side high pressing eight if we were to get him?
I mean, for me, well done on having a go at pronouncing it, by the way. I mean, look, we know indeed he's injured. Will he be staying anyway at the end of the contract? Who knows? Depends which division we're in, possibly. He's already sort of interest is being shown on him. At the moment, Cassidy is the obvious choice, and he seems to be the one that Enzo's playing in that role. But he is only on loan, and the chances are that he will be going back to Chelsea at the end of the season. So I think this guy would fill that role. Normally, I'd say, what the hell are we doing buying an injured player? But look at Dom Cannon. It's worked out all right with me. I mean, I don't know if anybody ever goes on the BBC website. Shameless plug coming up here. BBC.com/LCFC. My fans' voice post this week was about the January transfer window. Does it matter if we don't sign anybody? I don't think it does, to be honest with you. I think we've got enough in the squad, and with the youngsters coming through and coming back. But if Enzo, he'll know about this guy, and if he thinks he's good enough, then we back him.
Kate?
Yeah, I agree with that. Looks like Enzo's got his fingers in lots of pies abroad, doesn't it? And I'm trusting his sense of players. I'm trusting that he will pick players that fit into his system and that will genuinely play. Rather than just picking a guy for cover, I think he would pick a guy that he would see to have a future at the club as well. Injury records don't bother me as long as they're not chronic. We've signed Suter, who would just recovered from an ACL, and whilst he's not played that much, he's not really had any recurrence. So I trust that medical team. We do have a lot of experience in dealing with people with severe injuries. That's one thing that we've got. And I'm with Chris, though. I don't think we need to necessarily buy, but I trust the process in that if an opportunity comes along that's too good to turn down and it seems a bit of a peach of a purchase, then I'm all for it.
Yeah, that's right, Kate. I think it's 2 million.
I mean, €2 million, just under £2 million. We've wasted more than that on players, haven't we?
In wages.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. It's 100% agree. With both of what you're saying, because it's kind of I didn't really feel the need, we're screaming for anyone yet. But at the same time, if we were to get someone, it would be good to integrate them into the Enzo style now, because I do have utmost faith in him and everyone that he's recruited. But if we were to get him in now, we could get him ready earlier for the Premier League sort of thing. But I agree. I don't really feel the need, we're really screaming for anyone. The only really questions are who doesn't re-sign, and that's Ndidi and Vestergaard. So we also, as you know, Enzo needs to get players out, and we've got Enzo and Ndidi. I think Pratt's out of contract as well at the end of the season, Kalechi. So we've still got a lot of people left. I don't want to see them go for free, but it still will make space. But it'll be interesting to see how much Enzo's back should we go up in terms of transfers and money.
I think he will get back. I think, look at how many players we bought in at the start of the season in this window. I think Top's learned his lesson by, we know we've got to balance the books. And if we can get somebody in for 2 million rather than somebody for 32 million, and they're good enough, and he's 28, he's experienced. Thing is, we do have a manager now that sort of knows the players he wants to bring in, like Kate said, that will fit into the system rather than just because, he's a name or a number. Yeah, and he's going to pick players that fit into the system. For 2 million. Yeah, what we got to lose? Pratt, I think it's time for Pratt to go. He's just a thick note. I mean, we all love the guy, and we all thought, I think had it not been for his fellow countrymen, he would have been played more games. But injury, he's just like I say, a thick note. I think he spends more time, on the treatment table than he does on the football pitch.
Yeah. I think I
How
agree,
old is this? How old is this Dempsey guy?
28.
Okay, so prime of his career.
Yeah,
good few years left as well.
Yeah, and he's apparently, according to Leicestershire Live, and you either take what you read in that as got some truth in it or whatever, but he's now said yes to joining Leicester City. And there was a less than a week ago he didn't want to leave, but I know his time at where he is now is very. I'm not sure which club he's actually at the moment.
I've got an article here in front of me, and it says, the same thing you just said. It said reports already started to send positive signals to Foxes, as it was explained that the player was starting to be convinced of a move to the Championship, primarily because of where Enzo Maresca's side are on the table. I think, with all due respect, the Premier League is the cream of the crop in terms of football. Maybe I'm being biased, but in my opinion, it's the best. So why wouldn't you want to play for us? Under Enzo as well, so...
Well, Italian talking to an Italian, that automatically helps, doesn't it? As long as they don't do what they did to Christensen and sack him as soon as we sign him. But, and look, if we sat in mid-table and sort of we're like 10, 15 points off the playoffs, it might be another story. But we're not. But
also, crucially in football, if you stand still, you move backwards. You've got to keep refreshing the squad, even when you don't really think you need to. Look at Man City at the moment. They've lost De Bruyne for a while. Haaland will get figured out. He's still absolutely incredible, but it takes a season or two sometimes for defences to figure these amazing players out. And even with their amazing resource and squad depth, they need to keep refreshing. Look at Chelsea. They've spent so much money and it's still not really doing a lot. So as long as you pick right, it doesn't really matter whether it's deemed to be the right time or not. Because I just genuinely think in football, you've got to keep the squad fresh. Because we all saw last year what happened when you've got a really stagnated team and there's no fresh ideas, fresh blood, pressure on places within the first 11. It just goes all a bit stale and a bit dry, and motivation can sometimes drop as well.
The other worry for me, and I've said this many times, and I think I've said this to you, Kate, is the old Newcastle analogy. When they were however many points they were clear of Man United, and they brought in a Skrilla, a fantastic player as he was, it just unsettled the squad that was playing so well, and Man United slowly started to claw back. That said, if he is going to play in that Indeedy role, look, we've got to change things around anyway, so it might as well be, like say, a new player. And like I say, 28 years old, 2 million, Serie A player, into Milan, so he's not exactly going to be useless, is he? So I think it's just his injury thing that worries me, but if we can sort that out, get him over.
Perfect. I 100% agree. Well, let's move on. So it's Coventry away, I believe. They've actually picked up a pretty decent amount of form as of late. I've got it here in front of me. They didn't start the greatest at the start of the season, but I do believe they had quite a fair amount of players on loan last season that they didn't hang on to. So
Doyle was one of them.
Doyle was one of them. And we'll touch on him later for sure, but I'm just got it here in front of me and I've lost it. Of course,
They played us first game of the season, didn't they?
That was the first game. Yes, it was. And we conceded first. Here we go. I've got it here. Okay, they just shipped past Oxford. They beat Middlesbrough 3-1. Drew of Swansea 2-2. beat Sheffield Wednesday 2-0, beat Sunderland 3-0, drew of Leeds and drew of Southampton. So that was 3 pretty decent games in a row. Granted, they weren't wins, but not bad form, you would think.
Yeah, they've
Coventry.
only lost to Ipswich since the beginning of November. It's the only team they've actually lost to. So you're right, they have turned a corner in form for sure. And it's a local derby, which is always quite feisty with the Coventry fans.
You felt that from.
I think it's going to be interesting because I think on form, and I just realised that I hadn't uploaded the thing that I thought I had to look at. But I think they're 4th in the league on home form, and we're 1st in the league on away form. So, and I'm surprised that because of course they were in the playoffs last year, got into the final. I expected them to be doing a lot better. And if you look at their form guide as sort of a line graph, it looks like somebody's heart attack because it's up and down so much. But look, yeah, like Kate said, it's the derby, as Brad always said. It's it's a proper derby because it's got a motorway named after it. So we can't take anything for granted, but it would be nice to do the double over them.
Yeah, it would be lunchtime kickoff as well, which I can never really figure out if I love or hate. It's always one of those ones that you don't want to drop points if you play first and then watch everybody else potentially claw some points back at you. But if you win, it feels amazing because you can chill for the rest of the weekend as the results roll in. So,
yeah, I think under Martin O'Neill, we always struggled with the early kickoffs, didn't we?
Yeah, I think we did.
I love them. Means I don't have to get up a crazy o'clock to watch it.
Yeah, it will be for you. What will it be, like 7:30 or something?
It'll be 8:30. Yeah, 8:30. So yeah,
perfect.
So good. So we've got Leicester here. I got Leicester, we all know the results pretty off the top of our hand, but I'll read about it anyway. Leicester beat Millwall 3-2. Another really good game for squad rotation. Beat Cardiff 2-0. Beat Huddersfield 4-1 and drew with Ipswich, I think was the game before that. So pretty decent form ourselves, so to speak. But how are you guys feeling about playing away and how do you think the lads are going to handle it? I think for me personally, I think this is a good game for Keenan Dewsbury Hall to step up like he did in the first game. You could see him being a Leicester lad that it meant a lot to him when he scored those 2 goals.
Do you want to go, Kate?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, we've had a bit of a spell without Keenan, haven't we, the last couple of games, and we have missed him. He's just such a presence now, and he's fastly becoming, if not the most highly rated player in the league, I think. So yeah, I think he'll be relishing it. It'll be great to have him back. I think he did need a rest. He obviously had a few minutes against Millwall, but I think he did need a rest. But yeah, I think the team will be up for it. I think there's that pressure now that we've got in maintaining that lead that we've got in the table. I think there's the pressure of Enzo's perfection, which he seems to demand. And then there's the added pressure of the new people coming in because Cassidy is going to be in, I think we spoke about this on Monday on the debate show, but Cassidy is under pressure now because he is going to be pretty much playing for the next 12 weeks at least. So it's pressure for him to step up and show exactly what he's worth, whether it's to go back to Chelsea and flourish there or whether it's to potentially stay with us or whatever. But his future depends on this next 3 months, really, I would think, for him. So I think a lot of the players are like that, the youngsters that want to break into the team. We spoke about the young lad at the back. What was his name? Sorry. Ben Nelson. He had a great game against Millwall. So he'll want to hopefully push on again and try and get some minutes. So there's still a lot to play for in this Leicester team, even if you think it's a foregone conclusion that we're top of the league. I think there's still a lot to play for, and there's half the season to go. So as much as we've had a great first half, things could go wrong and do go wrong. So we need to make sure we keep as we were.
For me, we still haven't had, I don't think, that sort of dip that every team seems to have. We had the 2 losses to Leeds and Middlesbrough, but we've not had that sort of 4 or 5 game run where we've struggled and only drawing or losing. And that always worries me that might be around the corner. And everybody that you talk to, I was watching, I just came across this video and this girl doing this show that I'd never seen before. And she was doing all the 4 divisions. So I obviously fast forwarded it to the Championship. And she had Leicester top and going up and what have you. And it worries me that everybody's saying, it's yours to lose now. It's yours to lose. This is Leicester City. There's not another club in the country that can shoot itself in the foot like Leicester City. we know
Everyone's
that.
trying to give us the kiss of death.
Exactly. But the other thing as well is that when everybody mentions, why all the players that they've got in the Championship, and Kieran Dewsbury Hall always gets mentioned in the list about how good, what good players we've got. I think he'll come back in as well. But like I say, we can't take it lightly. I'm just looking here. I mean, we have in the last 5 games, I should say, we've won 4, drawn 1. Coventry have won 4, drawn 1. We've scored 15. They've scored 18. We've conceded 4. They've conceded 5. This is going to be 0-0, isn't it? It's got it all over.
I hope not.
We haven't 0-0 yet this year. I don't think we have, actually.
No, we haven't. No, we haven't done 0-0.
Touch wood.
It's
you mentioned Kate about Cassidy, and I agree with you. But also, we can't forget Eunice Akgun. It's going to be a big 8 weeks or so for him as well. But the thing is, we originally bought him as a right winger, but every time we've seen him, he's either played, in that high pressing 8 position on either side. But for me, I would like to see, I'll get into my starting 11 after this, but I think it's going to rotate between the two. But I think judging off the last game, and I've been his harshest critic a little bit, he hasn't really hit the ground running, Cassidy, but I thought his last game was his best game against Millwall. So I would expect him to start. And also, he's the only loanee other than Doyle that hasn't got an option to buy. So I can't see him going back to Chelsea, but I could maybe see him get a loan again. It really depends on the rest of the season.
Yeah, I think he probably will go for Cassidy as a start if he's choosing ahead of Eunice. But he has used them both together at times, hasn't he? So, but I think he'll want Cassidy for his height. I don't think he's as physically present as he probably should be, but he's still a young lad and developing in that area. So I'd like to see him push on and be more physical, particularly in this league, because you see someone like Dewsbury Hall, who isn't particularly big physically, but his presence is massive. His upper body strength is phenomenal as well, and just the ability to wrestle players off the ball or to protect the ball or whatever it is. And I just don't think Cassidy's adopted that yet, but he needs to learn, and I'm sure he will. So I just really like Eunice to watch. I'm a bit like you. I think he's a really exciting attacking player to watch. I think he's our most skillful player on the ball. It's just a shame we've not had enough minutes out of him. But it wouldn't surprise me if he chooses both, but we will see. What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, it was quite telling what Enzo said after the other game when Cannon scored. He said, Eunice couldn't have done that, because he sees him as a different role, and he is trying to turn him into after everything we said about buying players for the right positions, he's trying to change him from a winger to a central role. But that said, look, we've been reasonably lucky with injuries to the top players. So if anything was to happen because he can play on either wing unit, so he has got that cover there. Cassidy, like you said, Luke, that was his best game for the season, and he hasn't had the run of games like Mavididi has, like Fatuhu has. Or Vescott, any of the players. He's very much been in and out. He's going to start shaking it about soon, I'm sure. But this is now his chance, because I think he will be Enzo's first choice, like I say, to cover Wilf while he's out. And if he does get that run of games, and we know there's a good player in there, look at what he did at the under 21 Euros. This could be the time. And like Kate said, he'll either do very, very well, or we'll discover that he doesn't.
Yeah, we will. And also, again, I just want to mention something to you both. So I am convinced that we've seen the last of Kelechi. I think that his head's not been in it this season a little bit, to be honest with you. Maybe like with his contract, he hasn't hit the ground running like I expected him to in a division below. We've had Daka had a few decent appearances. We've also now had Cannon. I know it's only been 2 games, but for me, the main difference is if Vardy's still injured and we have to pick between Daka and Cannon moving forward after AFCON. For me, I think Cannon, from what I've seen briefly, he's a lot more clinical on the ball and a lot more physical as well. Like that second goal against Huddersfield was perfect. Not only the way he finished, but the way he beat his man. And you would never, ever see Patson Daka do that. Patson Daka, a stiff breeze would blow him over.
No.
What's up, Chris?
I'm going to argue with you, with all due respect, sir. We have seen him do it. Remember 4 times against Moscow.
Yeah, but they weren't physical, like, sort of goals. You know, like a lot of his goals are like tapping. Like, don't get me wrong, but and that was one game, and like,
yeah. And we've had 2
like,
games with Tom Cannon. Look, I love Tom Cannon. Like I say, I couldn't really judge him because again we hadn't seen him play. I did question buying an injured player, but look, I've been proved wrong again. But let's not get too excited, and I'm not getting too carried away with Patson Daka. You know, if you're saying that Kelechi's head hasn't been there, you've got to say exactly the same against Jamie Vardy. Neither of us 2 main strikers have been banging them in, you know, for fun. But that's not the way Enzo plays. You know, he plays. He expects all 3 forward players to be in the goals, and they are. And you know, Vardy before he got injured, he wasn't particularly on a goal scoring run.
granted
Kelechi
his
up until
age.
sorry.
Don't forget though, Jamie Vardy's shout out Kate Lynch as well. It's happy birthday, Jamie Vardy's 37 today. Whereas Kelechi's in the prime of his career in a division below.
Yes, but they're different players, aren't they?
Yes,
play
they
different
are.
ways. I just think let's not get too excited about Tom because we got excited about Musa, who happened to put 2 away against Barcelona. Then we hardly saw him again. There was a guy, and I can't remember his name. I don't know. You might remember it, Kate. That everybody was raving about because he happened to score against a 3rd tier Peterborough in the League Cup. And he was going to be the next. He was going to be the next Mahrez, and he was absolutely useless. Diabate.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
And I mean, let's not build these players
like
up too much.
Gazelle and people like that seemed
Yeah.
to hit the ground running and didn't.
And Tete, after that Villa game, he was going to be we bought the one Brazilian that was rubbish. But and look, so let's not get too excited, and let's not Kells, because we know what Kells can do. He was top scorer in that season when he was being started regularly. Yes, I think you could be right. We possibly have seen the last of him, but I'm not getting too excited about Daka or Cannon because at the moment, it's been what 4 or 5 games for Daka, 2 for Cannon. We'll ask me again, in maybe 5 or 6 weeks' time.
Fair enough. I'm excited for now. I'm all aboard the hype train. Clip it.
Yeah, you're Australian though. You get excited by anything, don't you, down there?
I do. All right, Scott, mate. I hope you're all right. Don't forget Joe Doodoo after his brace in the cup a few seasons back. Don't go there.
Indeed, he's playing for a Champions League club now, isn't he?
Is he?
Yeah, he went to Rangers, and I think Rangers sold him to a European team. Or it might not be one of the Leicester players that we sold or let go, shall we say, went to Rangers and he's now playing in a Champions League squad.
Yeah. I just want to get this up. I'm just going to move on to the starting 11 I've picked here. Potential. You can nearly script it now with Enzo, but I've got here. I don't know how well you can see that.
Yeah. Good.
Okay, so obviously you're expecting Mads Manson. Shout out to Stolarczyk though in his last game. I thought he did well. Now,
great game.
Wout Faes, I'm expecting to start on the right-hand side. Possibly the left. I have seen him actually interchange a few times with JJ. I do think JJ plays better on the other side, but I would be surprised though if we had Doyle start. But Doyle did I think he got close to full 90 minutes against Millwall. So I would expect JJ to start and then Vestergaard in the back and the middle. Also, Ricardo Pereira, we all would expect to start. Harry Winks, Fatawu, Cassidy, and the only person I can also see maybe is Yunus starting that position. But as we mentioned earlier, I'm expecting Cassidy, Dewsbury Hall, Mavididi, and Cannon. And moving forward, that's probably going to be nearly a starting 11 most weeks, other than Cassidy and Justin, and maybe you might see the odd appearance from Hansen Chowdhury starting for Ricardo Pereira. What do you guys think of that starting 11?
Yeah, I think that's pretty much what he'll go for. It's just a question on Doyle, isn't it? I think he wants Doyle in as quickly as possible to I think that's his preferred choice. I think he just prefers him for his passing ability and his vision. I think that is probably better than JJ's, but I love JJ. I think he's absolutely brilliant for us, and I think he's slowly getting back to the levels that we saw of him in the Prem before his injuries. So I think the more you play Justin, I think there's an absolute gem in there. And save for injury, I think there was a potential he could have knocked Chilwell out the England team. I genuinely believe that. So yeah, I agree with you. I think that's pretty much the team he'll start. I think Cassidy will start. I think he's desperate to see what this kid can do with a run of games. And the rest are just his sort of preferred generals that haven't let him down. So yeah, agree with all of that.
Yeah, I would. That's probably the team I would go for. Doyle, I think I'm the only Leicester fan that hasn't been overly impressed with him. Me
too.
There we go.
I'm not
on my own. I'm not on my own.
No, you're not, mate.
I mean, yes, even before he was injured, he was okay. Look, he's left-footed. That's why I think he likes, and that's what we're supposed to be after. Faz could be leaving. There's links moving him with. Get me teeth in. I put the wrong setting this morning. There's news that he's been linked with Atlanta and a couple of other Italian teams. I'm not happy when he plays on the left because I believe Justin's better on the left, although obviously he can play on the right. Faz, for me, he's not a left-sided player, but if he moves Ricardo over with him, then he looks better than when he's on his own. Cassidy, like you said, Kate, I think he'll get a run of games yet. And well, we haven't got any choice other than Cannon up front, but let's face it, he's not done anything wrong, has he? So I think you've pretty much got it nailed on there, Luke.
Thank you, mate. And I hope we don't lose Faze. There's not a lot of money in the Italian league, so I hope we get our money's worth for him. I can't see that happening personally, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. He looks happy.
Again, it's all paper talk, I know, but they're a little bit upset of the Italians. Apparently, there's three. I believe it's about Faz. There's three Italian teams that have had their fingers burnt with Leicester because we've turned away all of them. I mean, if we go back up, he can do a job for us in the Premier League. It's just we've got the Euros coming up next year, and it depends whether he thinks playing for a Serie A team will get him a bit further than a Championship team in his national side. So we'll see.
Gulo is ours. Stay away.
Well, let's not forget. We've also got Sutar, but he could be leaving, and of course, the mighty Dane, of course, that is Yannick, controlling that back line.
And we've got Christensen to come back potentially, haven't we? He's only
I don't think he will. I don't think Christian will. He wanted him. Enzo wanted Christensen to play, I believe, that Justin role, and Christian did not want to play that role.
Yes,
which was why he was shipped out. He's already been coming out voicing quite rightly that he joined us at the wrong time. He joined us at a team that was in a relegation battle with the manager that was about to be sacked, and he was asked to try and save the club. I don't know whether he thinks he's Jesus Christ or what. I don't know, but I like him, but I don't know whether he would fit into this formation. It's exactly the same with Luke Thomas.
Oh no, I don't think Luke Thomas is anywhere near good enough to get anywhere near this squad.
I feel sorry for Thomas. He's kind of damaged goods at this point. He's gone for a horrible season under Brendan Rodgers this last season, and now he's done the same thing close to at Sheffield. So I really feel sorry for him. I know he's a Leicester lad, but it's harsh and that's football. But and as for Victor Christensen, I think about this all the time. Like, could he or couldn't he? Everything Chris said was on the money. That's 100% true. He didn't want to play that. I think Enzo was willing to work with him because he was left-footed. He did make a lot of, overlapping runs of Barnes, and he did help a lot, get Barnes into the game when he was at his best. But whether he'd track back in time and be as, disciplined as JJ is a whole other conversation. But for me, I think JJ is the better option with Doyle right now where he's at in his career. And I feel like the last 4 to 5 weeks he's really started picking up some form. So for me, I'd rather see JJ. Just quickly before I move on to score predictions, I'm about nearly 3/4 of the way through your Let's Talk Leicester podcast, guys, and it's really good. And guys, please check it out, Leicester Till I Die. They always have a really funny show. Chris and Neil was on it too, actually. Shout out to Beyond the 90. But yeah, Chris, Kate, and Dave, are hilarious. It's a really good chemistry. But something you mentioned and Neil mentioned, I thought was really interesting because I've thought a lot myself about this. Kate, you said you're not sure if Vestergaard could do it in the Premier League because he's quite slow, but Neil mentioned that, Faes and JJ do a lot of the running for him, which I think is actually perfectly true. If you look at it, it's almost like a triangle. If you were to draw a line between them, you'd have, Vestergaard here and your two other your left and right side centre backs. And then also you have, which we never had last season, we have both our wingers always relentlessly, particularly Mavroditi, tracking back, which really helps as well with the back three. And then obviously you've got Ricardo. And that's why I think it's something to be said for us not conceding as many goals, really not many of that goals this season. So if Vestergaard were to re-sign, you still think he can't do it, Kate?
Yeah, I stand by what I said, and everything that you said there is why I don't think he can. Because at the moment, there's not many teams that play a high line against us, and when they do, we often concede. A lot of teams sit back, and that gives Vestergaard the time to sort of patrol the back, which is great. He's a bit more of a sweeper in that sense because he hasn't got the pace. If you put Vestergaard back there in the Prem, in my view, I think that will encourage teams to push up with a high line, and that can leave one-on-one situations, and we all know how that ends. That's the only issue. I just don't think we can have that cart horse at the back, like I said last week, like with an old general in defence in the Prem. It's a completely different league now. You need pace, agility, all across your back four. You can't carry any handicaps, and that's no detriment to Vestergaard because he's got some amazing strengths. And I'm not saying elite level football isn't for him, but it's just the Premier League is so fast. Could you imagine him against even someone like Declan Rice could just literally bypass him because he's just that sort of box to box kind of midfielder. And that's where we're at issue in the Prem because it's so fast. At the minute, we can deal with it. But after seeing some of his performances in the Prem, and I get he was low on confidence, he didn't have the backing of the manager that every player should have. But he was just, that weakness is too weak for me for the Prem.
Chris, defend your love child. Go on.
No, to be honest with you, I agreed with Kate, I think, on the show, which was a first, but I did agree with her. I think she made some very good points there. I wouldn't say let's necessarily dump him, but I think if we did re-sign him, it would be as a squad player. And the question is whether he would be happy with that or not. I just don't think. I mean, we've got Cody, but I mean, he's what is he now? He's getting on a little bit, isn't he?
I think, yeah.
Yeah, he's only with us for like two seasons. It is his pace that worries me. And I think that, yes, all right, he's played in the Premier League. He also was in a team that let in 9 twice, which probably sums up. I think that's the thing, his speed. Will he have the time to do what he does? And what he's doing now is perfect for what Enzo wants. I mean, he can pick out a pinpoint pass, probably better than anybody that's on that pitch from either team. But will he be given the time to do that in the Premier League? I'm not sure. And like you say, if you've got somebody running at you, you're not going to put your money on him in a 2-horse race, are you? He's going to be the proverbial Spurs. You know what I mean? So, yes, I love the way, and I love him because of the way that he's been pilloried last season and the way that he's proved himself that he can do it this season. It is a different level. If we play like we play generally when we go up to the Premier League, we're probably we're going to lose more than we're going to win because we're lucky with the fact that a lot of the teams we play are not the best finishers. And it's going to be a different ball game altogether when we get into when we get into the Premier League. Let's be positive. And yeah, I don't know if he's the right person. If we go up, I think we're going to see some more signings, definitely.
I definitely do, and it's just a matter of whether we get given a little bit of a war chest or not, how many players go out. I 100% agree with everything you both said, and it's been my thought. Like, when the season first started, he started getting that run of games, the whole time I was just thinking, once Cody comes back, he's gone, once Cody comes back, and it was always that. And then it was just, he kept getting better and better to the point where he made himself undroppable for, as you were saying, Chris, his ball distribution is on point. It's excellent. And again, What is interesting, though, 100%, again, I agree with you, we're different when we go to the Premier League. But what's interesting is when we played Liverpool in the Carabao Cup, it was very early on, us still gelling as a team, quite a lot of new players, new manager, but we still stuck to how we play, the Enzo ball. Now, I still don't. I know it's a completely different league, the Premier League, but I would still expect Enzo to play, very similarly, if not exactly the same. He'll still back his tactics when he moves up.
You okay if I go, Kate? Yes, I would be very surprised, having spent a whole season putting a particular formation into practice, including, the under-21s and the under-18s, that he's going to change it. But it's the players. I mean, Cody didn't start against Liverpool. Not Cody, sorry. Cody did start against Liverpool. Vestergaard didn't start against Liverpool, did he? So that kind of maybe says something. But look, I mean, with Liverpool, it was 3-1, but that second goal was a worldie, and the third one hit the post and could have just as easily come out. Yeah, I know. I've learned how I'm of an old age, Scott. Never argue with a woman. I've learned that many times. But no, yeah, and that third shot could have hit the post. Like I said, if a ball hits the post, it's got a 50% chance of coming back out or going in. So we weren't outplayed, but Vestergaard didn't start that game. And I just think Kate, it is the perfect point Kate makes. It is his speed.
Kate, you're a wizard. Dropping some really good points. I really appreciate that. Guys,
we love him, but every person has their role to play, and I think this is his moment.
Yeah. And every player has the limits as well.
Every player has the limits, and pace in other parts of the pitch isn't necessarily a problem. But with where he is, it's a massive vulnerability, and I just don't think we're going to be up there for odds-on favourites to get relegated because we're newly promoted. So you'd like to think we just can't go in with that massive weakness in the back, because you've just got to you've got to hire quicker people. And I think we'll definitely go to the transfer window in the summer, because there'll be a lot of people not signing on. Even losing someone like Pratt, as much as we've loved him, he's been a very, very expensive sick note, really, hasn't he? He's been a very expensive sick note. He's going to be on phenomenal money. He's a Belgian international, as he should be, but we haven't got the money. We haven't got our money's worth out of him at all. So that will free up a bit of space, I hope.
Same could be said for Daka as well. We spent a lot of money the last couple of seasons under Rodgers and Samare, Daka, a lot of players that we're not even seeing anymore.
He's going to be on decent money. He's going to be on decent money. He's a Premier League player when he signed for us.
That was a panic buy, I believe.
Sorry,
I believe Vestergaard got the wages he got because I think it was that preseason friendly against, I think it was Spanish side. I can't remember the name. I think it was
Valencia.
Villarreal.
It was Valencia,
yeah. We got done dirty, and Fofana got injured.
Yeah.
I hope it hurt Fofana, Voldemort.
Anyways, it did. I heard him scream. I was at the game.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he really screamed. I was the opposite side of the pitch as well, and it's kind of a lull in the game generally because it was quite early on, and you heard the guy. He was in a lot of pain. But yeah, it was a panic buy, as was Bertrand a little bit, and I was really excited about Bertrand because I thought he was a good player. I liked him at Southampton. He was on the fringes of the England squad for a while, but looking back now, and hindsight's always a good thing, but just two very expensive panic buys, and we don't want to be buying ever again.
Let's not forget. Let's give Ryan his full name, Bertrand. The
Chelsea fan. Wizard. Ryan Bertrand, the Chelsea fan.
Yes. I mean, I can remember watching a pre-season game when we just signed Bertrand, and I thought, wow, he put a free kick in. I thought it was beautiful, and I actually turned around and said, that for a free signing, that could be the signing of the summer. Shows what I know.
It was. Just the summer came and went, and we never saw him again.
Exactly.
Pity football isn't played in the summer.
In fairness, the Southampton fans could not believe that we'd bought him and Vestergaard.
Yeah, they were absolutely Southampton fan, and he was furious that we'd got Vestergaard. He couldn't believe it.
Really?
Obviously, he's proven his worth to us now. Yes, but I think we found his level, and but getting some people off the wage bill in the summer is obviously crucial, because Enzo's brought it about again this window, hasn't he? About not being able to buy because we need to sell. So it's obviously an issue. So it's kind of part 2 of clear out in the summer. Part 1 we've had this summer, and it's part 2 next summer. So
I agree, Kate. Solid point. Guys, what are your score predictions? I'll start with you, Chris.
Look, this is. I used to work with a Coventry fan, and we used to have a bet every game as to who would win. Neither of us. We lived in Burnley, both of us, but I did work with him as a Coventry fan. We used to have a pound bet every time, and I've got to say, I came out a lot more on top than he did. It's not going to be easy because, like I say, they are 4th in their home form, so we can't take them lightly. It'll be another time. I'm going to go for the same score as in the first game, and that's 2-1 to Leicester. Or 12. I mean, why can we score 12, Luke? What do you think?
No, don't talk about that.
He predicted a 12-2 or 12-1 win to Leicester, Kate.
No, I didn't. It was an accident. No, I didn't. It was an accident.
You did. I can send you a clip if you want.
Well, I mean, a win sees them into the playoffs. I'm just looking at the table, so there's a lot at stake for them. I am feeling confident now, so I'm going to go 2-0.
2-0, nice. Well,
we're not good at.
What do you think, Luke?
Are we?
Chris wants to answer for me. He knows what I'm thinking, but I'm not going to go for it. I'm going to go for 3-1 this week. I think it's Wright, the American lad at Coventry. I think he's the 3rd leading goal scorer in the division. He's been really good. But for me, I'm going to go 3-1, and I can see Dewsbury Hall put one past, and I'm going to go for a brace for Cannon. Get a few comments here before we wrap this up. Dan's gone for 3-1. Judy, how's it going? Judy, you're to blame for that. I can't remember what game it was, but you gave a crazy score prediction when there was me and Brad on. We all went a bit too confident and we got shattered. I think it was the Sheffield game. But I hope you're well, Judy. And last one is, hi, everyone. Did you hear sad news about this? I did, mate.
Gentleman. He was a gentleman.
Awful. Yeah, lovely man. Lovely man. Really sad news.
Really sad news. I wish him and his family all the best, and I hope he's okay and he's comfortable and he's got nothing to hang his head on in his life. He's done everything. So credit to him. Guys, anything else you want to add before we wrap this up?
Nothing from me.
No, I think that's fine. Hi, Judy.
All right, Judy. Listen, guys, it is 10:48 at night here. I'm going to try and get some sleep. You're more excited now, but I will try and get some sleep before work. Thank you so much for coming on, Kate. I really appreciate it. You always drop some really good knowledge. Really appreciate listening to you. And Chris, you are an absolute legend, mate. I owe a lot to you on YouTube, and give everyone a shout out where they can find you.
Well, it says there, LTID TV 1. Join us tonight at 7 for our version of this, when you'll be tucked up in bed counting sheep, Luke.
Yes.
Or the 12 goals.
Exactly.
Goals, yeah. Well, Chris's preview is probably going to be a lot better, more organized than mine. And anyone that's watching this right now is probably from Chris's channel anyway. But if you aren't, please check out Chris. He's an absolute gem. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. And I will see you, Kate. You going to the game for Coventry?
I am indeed. Yep, I'll be there. So looking forward to it. Lunchtime kickoff, early start for me. But yeah, looking forward to it. And it's going to be flipping freezing, Luke. You're in the middle of summer over there. It's absolutely bitter here.
Mate, I'm sweating bullets here.
So,
you do look to be a bit warm.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's so hot. It's disgusting right now. I hate the heat.
What sort of temperature is it today then? What sort of temp was it?
It was 33, I believe, but Saturday is going to be 40, and it's like 37, 36, 35. Just it's disgusting.
I saw on a weather app yesterday that next Thursday and Friday here, the overnight temperature is going to be -11.
-11?
Yeah,
really?
So like 40 degrees behind you, 50 degrees behind you.
Please don't tell me it's going to be that hot in September, Luke.
No, it's going to be raining a lot. I'm not. You're coming in when we got to go from the UK to rain to more rain. But
when I planned it, I wasn't coming via Perth. I was going straight to Brisbane, which is a different side. Yeah, exactly, Judy. Exactly.
Judy, my family, I've got family in, I think it was, not Braunston, it was Glenfield is where my family's from, Leicester. For people that are wondering why an Australian is a Leicester supporter.
We're trying to get him over.
Yes, it's a work in progress.
Get him over for a game, haven't we? I'll put him in my suitcase in September and bring him back with me.
Probably cooler in your suitcase than it is in my room right now. Quickly, Kate, are you in the away section? Because I remember one of the games, I can't remember which one it was, but you said that you were behind enemy Lions with the home fans.
Yeah, that was the Birmingham. That was the West Brom game because the tickets just went like hotcakes, and I think there was a lot of dodgy dealing going on. Let's say on the ticket front. So that's the only game I've had to sit behind enemy lines. It was very difficult because it might surprise you that I'm a bit gobby at the football. I know. Imagine the shock. But I behaved myself. I didn't get any black eyes, and my camouflage was intact for the whole time. But yeah, I'm in the away end. I've been in the away end every other game this year that I've been to. So yeah, but I'm looking forward to it. I think it's always a bit feisty. I've seen a few fights over the years at Cov. It's not, if the fans are on the wrong end of it, it can be quite feisty. So I just want to get in, get the points, and go.
What did you go for on the score prediction? Sorry, Luke. I've just seen the scores come through to do the table.
2-0 I've gone for.
Well, Luke, I mean, this is 2 weeks, shall we? No, it was 4 games, wasn't it? It was 4 games that is included in here. And yes, put it this way, yes. I wouldn't give up the day job, Luke.
Oh, Chris, don't be so smug. I'm not looking forward to seeing the next prediction league table. I'm getting absolutely battered. Chris, you know what? I'll let you go after this. Chris stitched me up. He's like, yeah, come and join. You'll catch Brad maybe. And then the next thing, it's like, do you want to come on for the quiz show? I was like, nah, no way. Nah.
Hey,
I did the quiz show. I felt a little bit ambushed. But I'd happily do it again now. I found my feet a little bit, and yeah, I'd happily do it again. It's hard.
I would never force anybody, because I don't like doing quizzes. I don't mind hosting them, but I don't mind doing them. Don't like doing them. The last one I did, I got ambushed when I went on a Liverpool site. It was a bit like Blockbusters because there was 2 Liverpool fans versus me. Brad wasn't doing very well at the start, and I thought if Luke joined in, and Dave as well, in fairness, that he could actually probably catch Brad with only sort of half the season to go. How wrong I was, Luke.
Yeah, I know. And he missed a week as well, and he still managed to stay in front of me. That's when I was just like, oh, take me off and pretend it never happened.
Doug got 31 points over the 4 games. Yeah, you were in single figures. Should we leave it at that? I don't want to embarrass you too much.
And he's a Liverpool fan as well. Jesus Christ. All right, yeah, that's it. Wrap it up. All right, I'm deleting my channel.
Hopefully see you on both on Saturday on the watch along.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Yes.
All right, see you later, guys.
See you later, guys. Thank you. Take care. See you later, everybody.
Bye.